Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today, we're cleaning the pond. It's the end of March and spring is upon us. The weather's starting to warm up here, the flowers are starting to bloom, and I want to get some spring cleaning done here on the pond. We've had a lot of leaves fall in the pond over winter and it's created a lot of hair algae, and as the weather warms up, that grows a lot faster. My main goal today is to get the waterfall cleaned off, but I do want to get some other stuff cleaned up as well. The water quality is actually pretty good. You can see the algae all the way down at the bottom. We're getting a lot of aeration from the waterfall at all times, but I also have these bubblers going in here, so that's helping the water quality. And you can see all the way down to the bottom where the fish are. It's 4 feet deep right here, but it's still crystal clear. So the proper way and the most efficient way to clean the pond would be to drain the whole thing down. I would have to shut the waterfalls off, scoop the fish out, drain all the water down, and then I'd be able to pressure wash all the stones clean and drain all the dirty water to the bottom of the pond, pump that out, and then rinse it again, and then fill it all the way back up with some fresh water. We are supposed to get rain tomorrow, but we're not going to get 7,000 gallons of water to replace everything here in the pond. And I don't have big enough tanks to drain it off and then bring it back in. So this isn't going to be a complete clean of the pond, but I don't want this to be a completely sterile pond. I like the natural look that the algae brings. But like I said, mainly today I want to get the waterfall cleaned off, and if I can get in there with the net and scoop some of the algae off of the bottom to reveal the gravel, that would be nice too. I'm planning on adding a lot of plants to the pond this year, and hopefully that'll combat the algae as they grow and soak up some of the nutrients. But I wanted a fairly natural pond out here. I didn't want a sterile swimming pool, so a little bit of algae is not going to bother me. Over here next to the cold frame, last year we put in some succulents, and we did have some sempervivum come back up. This little red one here in the broken pot, and the one down here that's more green. Both looking really nice, accenting this beautiful group of hyacinths right here that smells gorgeous. And of course the daffodils as well. Now in the cold frame here we do have some growth going on, nothing too major yet. We have some lettuce coming up over there on the left. This lettuce I could actually harvest from. I should take some of those greens up to Mumbles. She'll be so happy to get some of those. We do have some radishes starting to form back there. I could water this. And the beans, they're getting almost a foot long back there. Or the peas, those are peas growing. And it looks like we have some bunching onions that germinated down here in the middle. And maybe a few carrots that were able to germinate. Anything we get out of here is always an early treat. We are getting perfect spring weather right now, so there is a lot of planting that I want to get done as well. But this weekend I'm going to be doing another garden tour for the end of March, and I wanted the pond to look a little bit better. Up, pop. So I have the pressure washer out. We're going to get the waterfall shut off and get it all cleaned up for the next garden tour. Oh, the geyser. And it's almost time to open the gates and let the birds out the free range. I am working on getting more My pineapple fell over. We don't want that upside down. And over on my homestead channel, I am working on putting up some more fencing for the chickens to try and contain them during the growing season. As nice as it is to see them out there in the field free ranging all the time, they always want to come down into the gardens once I put fresh mulch down and destroy everything. And I feel like it's my job to be the mediator between all the different elements of nature here so everybody can get along. Up, pop. Let's get this back up here. Good boy, good boy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It won't be done for the garden tour this weekend, but by the time we do the April garden tour, I'll definitely have the yards mowed. So I'm going to hook up the pressure washer. I'm going to be shutting the waterfalls off and completely washing down the waterfalls. You do have to use the pressure washer to get the algae off the rocks because it does stick really good. And then when I fire the waterfalls back up, it'll rinse everything down out of the waterfalls into the pond where I have my intake bay and my bog filter to filter everything out. And right now the water level in the pond is pretty low, so we're about 1,000 gallons below capacity. So hopefully tomorrow we can get a lot of rain and we'll have a natural water change here. All the water that lands on this side of the house is guttered down underground and over into the pond. I have a sump pit over there behind the beach, and whenever that fills up, it gets pumped into the pond via the geyser. Oh, the wind is starting to pick up here. All week I think we're supposed to have spring temperatures, so 50s and 60s during the day and 30s at night. But I think you guys got the idea of what I'm planning today, so let's get started. So I have 2 pumps on this pond, and those 2 are in barrels over here in the intake bay. It draws all the water this way. We have the deep end here. You can see it's still clear. But as we work our way forward, you can see how dirty it's getting, and then it's completely dirty and cloudy up here by the waterfall. So this is going to filter out, and it's going to go all the way down through the pond, make it all dirty and cloudy for a while until it all gets sucked in about 10,000 gallons an hour back there into the intake bay. One of those pumps brings the water up here to the bog filter, and that's at the top of the stream, and then it all flows down towards the waterfall. And then the other pump brings it up to the top of the waterfall, where there's a bunch of different ways it cascades down. The waterfall and the stream meet right here. It's about 2 feet deep here, and then it gradually gets deeper and deeper as we get to the deepest point at about 4 feet, where we then have the beach, the geyser, and the intake bay. And over here on this side, I do have a garden box that I shelved off. I did have some lilies there in those milk crates, but they didn't make it. We have Dorothy out right now. We have Goldie Hawn, Yang, and the orange koi, but now it's all starting to get cloudy. I was going to turn the waterfall off, but I decided to leave it on. It's helping rinse down everything that I'm washing away, and then I can see what's left. And it really is a mess. I'm going to get some more gas, and then we can get back to it. Back to it. Alright, that's pretty much all I can do with the pressure washer with the water as high as it is right now. So the pond is going to be murky for a little while now. Like I said, we're low on water. It's only about 6,000 gallons in the pond right now. And with the bog filter going and the waterfall flowing, we have about 10,000 gallons per hour getting filtered through. So the water gets filtered through the intake bay first before it gets into the pumps. And then one pump brings it up here to the bulk filter where it gets filtered through a bunch more layers of stone before it overflows into the main basin of the pond. And the waterfall itself is another filter. It has a basin at the top that acts as another bulk filter. And it is looking a lot better now that the stones are all cleaned up. And since my fish are still in the pond, you don't want to do too much cleaning all at once because you can have an ammonia spike. So during big cleanings, you really want to have a lot of oxygen flowing into the pond. So the waterfall being left on was good. We also have the bubblers flowing, so that's helping. And every time the geyser goes off, that adds a bunch of oxygen back into the pond as well. With all the dirt and the debris stirred up into the water, it can really deplete the amount of oxygen. So I'm going to let a lot of this settle out before I get in there with the net and try and clean up the bottom. So I feel like I kind of oversold you on a pond cleaning day because we're not doing a full pond clean. So I did get some of the gravel exposed here in the stream area. I'd like to do that to the rest of the bottom of the pond. This area should be a foot deep, so you can see how much water level we're down right now. And I was able to get the waterfall cleaned up a lot from what it was, and it's looking really good. This is a constant work in progress, so there's always things I'm trying to change and make better. But my main goal with the pond this year is to get some plants established in the water to help combat all the algae. And maybe the next spring clean out won't be so bad. You doing, Pop? You falling asleep waiting for me, bud. Echo Puff's been waiting on me. He wants to do some playing, and it's time to let all the birds out from the barn. I mentioned it earlier, we are starting to get some nice spring weather, so I will be moving all my seed starts into the greenhouse and starting some more here. So I picked up some seed starter and some new seeds, and I also started going through all my saved vegetable seeds to get all those started here. I did get some more mulching done as well. Over on the side garden, I expanded into the triangle and got all that covered up. And then the chickens really did some damage over by the hangar, so I had to do some work up there yesterday. But that's going to be all for this one. It feels good to get the waterfall cleaned up before the next garden tour. We have a lot to do to get everything looking good here for the new growing season. If you want to keep following along, make sure to subscribe down below. If you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button. You can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching. Okay.